Yo, what's up guys? Another video here in my car while I arrive at work too early, so I sit here and think and look over the Menai Straits and look at some mountains. I'll show you what they look like after the video, but they're snow-capped at the moment and they look really nice. And I thought, what do I want to talk about? Because I want to make a video, and I thought about different topics. And then I kind of thought to myself, what do I know about them? And it was only like 2 or 3 minutes of not much, so I'm not going to talk about those. But then I realised that there is something I've talked about to numerous friends as an interesting topic. So that should be the thing I talk about. And I don't know what I'd call it. Maybe like the male crisis or maybe the virginity crisis. But statistics show that the percentage of young people that aren't having sex, both male and female, is the highest it's been since records began. And records began is, I think, 60s or 70s. And even, you think 60s and 70s, and a lot of society is still quite religious, but yeah, the number of self-reported people that aren't having sex either in the prior year or have never had sex is at the highest it's ever been. So, okay, that's interesting information. So combine that with the fact that on Tinder, the top 10% of men are supposedly fucking the top 90% of women. So there's an inequality there. The women on Tinder aren't in a rush, and they understand the dynamic between men and women. Men usually chase women, and so they only swipe right on the top guys. Whereas the guys on Tinder haven't banged in a while. If they were banging, they probably wouldn't be on Tinder. They'd just go to the bar or the pub every weekend. The guys on Tinder are swiping yes on everything. So what do these two pieces of information combined tell us? It looks as if we're moving towards polygamy. Not a polygamous marriage, but a marriageless society where top guys are fucking 3 or 4 women and no one's in a relationship, maybe on and off little flimsy relationships. And while that's happening, there's a large section of men, a large percentage of men that are not getting any action at all. It almost sounds like a harem of like seals on the beach. But this is how it was back in the day. Supposedly, way back in the day, for humans, only 10% of guys were reproducing, while obviously 100% of women were reproducing. What does that sound like? That sounds like the strongest guy is fucking all the women, yeah? He's probably fighting the other guys, smack, left, right, 1, 2, you're not banging tonight, because I'm the fucking Chad, I'm the alpha male. So that's how it used to be, and that's what it's moving towards now. And the interesting thing is what has happened in between. And for me, you have to think about Western, or in general religion, but Abrahamic religion has promoted monogamy, yeah? Marriage, the institution of marriage that pairs a man and woman. And it's really interesting to think about because we don't usually think of religion as a good thing, especially in the modern world. Modern secular atheist, I think secular is the right word, modern atheist world, we've kind of dismissed religion, especially on online forums and on the internet. If you're religious, you're a bit of a goofball, a bit of an idiot. But if you look at religion and how it promoted monogamy, then you can see religion as like a calming force. And that's because men that are married, or men that have paired with a woman and have kids and are getting laid, are less dangerous. Because there's primary drives within a man to have ambition, to get, it's sad and it's a bit basic, but to get pussy, okay? So society is almost pacified by monogamy, and that's good for society. Not that I think the current morals or ethics of the society that we live in are good, but in terms of the stability of that society, or from the society's perspective, monogamy is good because it pacifies the men. And so if, like I said, if we look back in history and the norm, the biological norm was some form of polygamy, whether it was, marriage polygamy with wives or just in terms of sexual ratios polygamy. And since then we've had religion and it's been a calming force and it's promoted monogamy. And now that we've dismissed religion, we've dismissed all of our culture, all of our tradition, because we've brandished it all as pointless and meaningless. We don't have any cultural, traditional, religious foundation. It's almost like we're now reverting back to the polygamy. Because what was the reason for these women not to just fuck the top level guy? It was monogamy. It was, we're all being told that we're supposed to pair. Okay, that was what was good in the eyes of God, and that is what is good for society. And it's good for society in more ways. Like, you do raise more kids, stable, healthy, safe kids, than compared with 10 women having kids and the one guy that's fucked them all. Is he there? I don't know. Maybe in some situations he's there to support, but it would be harder for him to support more kids. So yeah, do we look at society now and do we wonder if an increase in lonely men, virgins, and an increase in women not having sex, a sexless society where most women are fucking a top percentage of men, is that dangerous? Because now we have a large section of the men that aren't having sex, so they're not happy. There's biological drivers there that are telling them to be ambitious and want more, but they're not having sex. And I think that can lead to radicalization of men, okay? Not through a specific ideology, but it could be incel culture. It could be radical Islam, radical any religion, radical Christians, these white school shooters in America, these radical Islamists blowing themselves up, incel culture. They all supposedly diagnose themselves with different reasons for their actions, but I'm assuming most of them are sexless, lonely men. And so they can rationalize why they're doing these horrible acts of violence with all the different rationalizations of, because of this ideology, because of this. But if you were to boil it down, is it because their key biological drivers are not being met? They're unhappy men. So with that being said, is society looking dangerous now? Is this bad? If we have a large group of men that aren't getting laid, they don't have families, they don't have kids, that's not a safe society. That's when you have a civil war. That's when you have riots. So yeah, I think I've tied that all together. There's modern dating, purely based on visual looks, combined with the internet, meaning that rather than, okay, another case study, another example. 50 years ago, there's a super attractive woman in the bar, in the pub, in the village, in the town, wherever. Her choice of mate is being selected for the night or for the future, long-term and short-term, is being selected from a pool of men in the local area. If it's just a one-night stand, it's a pool of men in that bar, okay? So, as an average man, or slightly above average male, in that situation, you have a chance. In that situation, there's a chance that if you walk up to that woman and say, "Hi, nice to meet you, I'm such a body, introduce yourself," you've got a chance. But today, that woman, if she does want something short-term, she's going to outsource you, okay? Because she's got apps where she's connected to men within a 50-mile radius, yeah? And so if you increase that pool and then only take the 1% of that pool, you ain't in it, okay? Even the top 1%, 0.1%, she's going to go for because the pool's bigger. So even 0.1% is going to be a larger number of men. So men are being outsourced because of the internet and connectivity. Women can find the highest level man. Whereas back in the day, you only had to be the highest level man in that bar, in that pub, in that restaurant, in that village. Now, if that woman grows up in that village in the modern day, she's on the apps and she's dating a guy from the city who is the top level man in that city out of the millions of people in that city. So there's that issue. And all of this is combining to kind of form a perfect storm where men are claiming to be unhappy. Male depression, male suicide is obviously, well, male suicide is something like over 70%, 75% of suicides are men. All of these issues are combining. Men are being told, stop being pussies, deal with it. Men are being told that actually men have no plight and it's all women that suffer. This society steps on women. Why aren't women killing themselves as much as men? That's an interesting one. And yeah, so these men are finding different avenues for radicalization. Religion, ideology, incel culture, internet culture. Even if it's not a dangerous radicalization, it's dangerous in the sense that as a man, and I'm going to say we because I'm part of it, we're forming all these super specific internet subgroups where in real life, we don't meet anyone that we share interests with because it's so specific what we're into. Like at work, am I going to bump into a guy that knows all the mods for a game that I play? No. Is he watching the same YouTube channel as me so we can talk about the same stuff? No, maybe, yes, but probably no. So we're all being radicalized and put into our own little bubbles and groups, and it's not good for society. It's a sexless society for a lot of us looking forwards, and a polygamous society for a lot of us looking forwards, because less women are having kids, less marriages are working, more marriages are ending in divorce, and more women are having casual sex with a finer and finer group of men. Because even though that percentage is so small, thanks to the internet and connectivity, that woman can find that man. Okay, that woman finds that man, they fuck. The next day, that same man fucks another woman. Okay, so it's like a 90% of women to 10% of men, even 5%, even sometimes 1% of men ratio. And it's interesting. And supposedly Tinder won't release all of their statistics because supposedly the bigger picture, the full picture is like really fucking interesting and scary and would probably be a big news story. But yeah, what would you call this issue? The male crisis or the polygamous crisis or the modern sex crisis? Something like that. That's what I'm going to name the video. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. Like the video, comment on the video, and thank you very much. This is what I can see this morning. The sun's only just come over the mountains as I've ended the video. And before the sun came up over the mountains, the top of those mountains you could see were capped with snow. You can't see it now, but it's gorgeous, isn't it? It's thought-provoking, and I am excited to sit here again in a week or two and talk and ramble some absolute crazy fucking internet bullshit to you.